Welcome back to the podcast. We've got something pretty cool to talk about today, Mark.
Oh man, Jenny, you know I'm always ready when it involves new tech, especially the gaming stuff. This is right up my alley. What do we got?
I figured. So, ASUS Republic of Gamers, ROG, just dropped their latest lineup of laptops in Canada. And these things, they're packed.
Packed is an understatement. We're talking about the new RTX 50 series GPUs from NVIDIA making their way into these machines. Like the Strix SCR 16 and 18, the Strix G16, even the Zephyrus line got an upgrade. That's a big deal.
Right? And we should mention, these are available now and shipping in Canada, which is good news for anyone who's been waiting to get their hands on the latest hardware.
Exactly. It's confirmed on multiple retailer sites and the product pages. They're here. And honestly, the specs. They're pushing the boundaries of what you expect from a laptop.
Let's dive into some of those specs, because they are impressive. The SCR series, for example, really seems to be showcasing that top-tier performance.
They are the flagships for sure. Intel Core Ultra 9 processors. And we're talking about the RTX 5090 with up to a 175-watt TGP. That's serious power. We're talking desktop-level performance in a portable package.
175 watts in a laptop. That's the kind of number you used to only see in desktop graphics cards, and even then, it was high-end.
I know. And it's not just about the raw power. ASUS is integrating things like upgradable DDR5-6400 memory and PCIe Gen5 SSD support. That's not just speed, that's future-proofing to a degree.
Okay, hold up. PCIe Gen5 for storage? What's the big deal there? Like, my current SSD feels pretty fast.
Ah, this is the cool part. Think about how fast your current SSD might be. PCIe Gen5 effectively doubles the bandwidth over Gen 4. We're talking sequential read speeds, potentially over 14 gigabytes per second. This is going to make loading times virtually non-existent for games and massive files. Imagine clicking on a huge video file and it just opens. No waiting.
Wow, that's remarkably fast. So not just better graphics performance, but everything else feels snappier too. From booting up to launching applications.
Exactly. It's about the whole experience. And speaking of experience, let's talk about the displays. The SCR18 has that 240Hz Mini-LED ROG Nebula HDR display. That's a mouthful, I know.
Okay, Nebula HDR. That sounds fancy. What does that mean for someone who isn't deep into display tech? Like, what's the practical benefit?
Good question. So it's a mini LED panel. Instead of one big backlight, it has thousands of tiny ones grouped into dimming zones. The SCR's got over 2,000 dimming zones. This allows for incredible contrast, really deep blacks, bright whites, and it hits 1200 nits of brightness, which is VESA certified HDR. Think of it like having little light switches for different parts of the screen, giving you much more precise control over the image.
So way better picture quality. More vibrant colors, more realistic looking scenes in games and movies, like watching a movie in a dark room compared to one with a lot of glare. But on your laptop screen.
Precisely. It differentiates the visual experience significantly. And then you have the Zephyrus line, which is doing something equally interesting but with a different focus.
The Zephyrus G14 and G16, right? They've always been about balancing power with portability. They're the sleek, take-it-with-you option.
Exactly. The G14 is around 3.46 pounds, and the G16 is about 4.30 pounds. For the kind of power they pack, that's quite light, and they're still managing to fit in serious cooling solutions to keep those powerful components in check.
How are they keeping those things cool? Because packing that kind of power into a thin and light chassis, that seems like a thermal challenge.
They're using vapor chambers and arc flow fans. Vapor chambers are more efficient at transferring heat away from hot components than traditional heat pipes. It helps sustain those higher TGPs without, feeling like you're holding a hot plate.
Melting your desk is a good way to put it. So the SCAR is for maximum power, maybe less worry about carrying it around every day, and the Zephyrus is for portability first, while still packing a significant punch for gaming and work.
That's a good way to summarize it. If you look at the comparison, the SCR18 is around 6 pounds, and the Zephyrus is around 4.30 pounds. big 18-inch 240Hz Mini-LED display, lots of ports including 2 Thunderbolt 5 to desktop replacement U times can times move.
Thunderbolt 5, too? More future-proofing there, so you can connect a bunch of displays or fast external storage.
Right? Then the Zephyrus G16 is 4 pounds, 16-inch, 165Hz IPS-level display, 1 Thunderbolt 5 port. Still powerful, but a more commuter-friendly form factor.
It's interesting to see how they segment their lineup to meet different needs. You have the desktop replacement essentially with the SCR, and the powerful go-anywhere machine with the Zephyrus.
Completely. And they're all benefiting from NVIDIA's Max-Q technologies. This is the suite of things like Advanced Optimus, which dynamically switches between the integrated and dedicated GPU based on what you're doing to save power, and Dynamic Boost, which intelligently allocates power between the CPU and GPU for the best performance. It's like having a smart manager for your hardware.
So they're smart about how they use the power they have. It's not just maximum power all the time, it's efficient power, which is key for a laptop battery.
Exactly. It's critical for balancing performance and thermal efficiency in a laptop form factor. These aren't just brute force machines. There's a lot of optimization going on under the hood to make them perform well and times be usable.
And I noticed the Intel Core Ultra processors also have AI acceleration built in with that AI Boost NPU. What does that even mean for someone using one of these?
That's true. While the direct impact on gaming is probably less pronounced right now, although that could change with future AI integrations in games, for content creation and other productivity tasks, that NPU can offload AI-driven processes, making things faster and more efficient. Think things like video editing effects, image processing, background blur on video calls. Tasks that would normally bog down the main CPU.
So these are not just gaming machines, but powerful workstations as well. They're built for more than just playing the latest titles.
Precisely. They're versatile tools. Now, obviously, with a product launch, we don't have third-party reviews or extensive user feedback documented in the immediate press materials. It's the company announcing their new thing.
Right, that makes sense. People are just starting to get their hands on them, but the initial announcement is all from ASUS themselves. We're reporting on the specs and features they're highlighting.
Exactly. So, we don't have a synthesis of expert opinions or widespread user sentiment just yet. And in terms of controversies or ethical impacts, with high-performance hardware, you always have the conversation around e-waste and upgrade cycles.
That's a fair point. These are powerful machines, but they also consume a good amount of energy and have heavy components. Are companies addressing that? Are there any mentions of sustainability efforts in the press release?
According to the materials we looked at, there's no explicit mention of specific recycling programs or major green initiatives highlighted for this particular launch. That doesn't mean they don't exist elsewhere, but it wasn't a focus of this announcement. That's a valid question to raise.
Something worth keeping an eye on as the industry evolves towards more sustainable practices. It feels like a responsibility tech companies need to take more seriously.
Absolutely. Addressing e-waste is a growing concern. Looking ahead, though, beyond just these models, the trends we're seeing with faster storage, more powerful and efficient GPUs, and AI acceleration in CPUs, that points to laptops becoming even more capable, blurring the lines even more between desktop and laptop performance. You might not even need a desktop for most tasks in the future.
And you're seeing higher refresh rate displays like that 240Hz one becoming more standard on gaming laptops, which is a good trend for gamers. Smoother visuals make a difference.
Definitely. It improves the visual fluidity and responsiveness dramatically. So while we don't have everything like extensive user reviews or third-party benchmarks just yet, this launch from ASUS gives us a pretty good look at where high-performance laptops are headed. It sets a new benchmark for a lot of things.
It's exciting to see these specs finally making it into consumer hands. For people in Canada who've been waiting, it's go time. The waiting is over.
Yep, they're officially out there for purchase. It's going to be interesting to see what people think once they start getting these in their homes and really pushing them.
Definitely. We'll have to track some of that user feedback as it comes in, but for now, it's clear that ASUS is pushing the envelope with this new lineup. They haven't held back.
They are. It's powerful hardware. And with that, I think we've covered a good chunk of what this launch is all about. It's a significant refresh.
Agreed. A strong showing from ROG. Thanks for breaking down the tech behind it, Mark.
Anytime, Jenny. It's always fun talking about this stuff, especially when it's shiny new tech.
All right, and that's a wrap for this episode. We'll catch you next time.
See ya. Stay tuned for more tech coverage.